And guess what? Both mindsets exist in the church.
Right. That's right.
Which mindset are you? Paul said to be absent from this body is to be present with the Lord. Because that's the way he lived his life. It was all about preparing for that life. So what? If I'm gone, I'm going to be with the Lord. And if I'm here, I'm going to keep preparing. He said, I press toward the mark. Not as though I've already attained. I haven't arrived. That's where my hope lies. There's one thing worse than being miserable in this world. You want me to tell you what it is? It's a miserable Christian. Because while misery likes misery, a miserable Christian, if you're not miserable, they'll do their best to make you miserable. It's like the little boy that was walking down the road and saw the cow. You know how cows always have these turned down looks? They look really sad. I've never seen a happy cow, except those in California that they advertise. But I've never seen a happy cow. The little boy looks over at his friend and he says, you know, I think that cow is a Christian. I said, well, how do you know that cow's a Christian? I said, because that's the way my grandma looks and she's a Christian. Miserable Christians. Why? Because they think their hope in Jesus is only in this life only. They know of the resurrection. They've heard of the resurrection, but they really don't believe it because they're not prepared. If I told you that I was going to pay for you an airfare to Honolulu, Hawaii, and I was going to do it next week,
Come on.
you'd go home and pack today, wouldn't you? Huh? Because you'd start preparing because you believe what I told you. Okay? You start preparing. Well, Jesus said, I'm going to prepare a place for you. And when I do, I'm going to come again and receive you unto myself. That where I am, there you may be also. The promise is there. Yeah, well, that's all in the future somewhere. I ain't going to worry about it today. I got other things to do. The kingdom of God is at hand.
Amen.
Know ye not that the kingdom of God is within you? If I really believe that Jesus is coming back, I'd be sharing Jesus with other people because I didn't want them to miss it. Now I'm going to ask you another heart-searching question. How many of you have shared Jesus with one person this week? I didn't want you to raise your hands, just wanted you to ask yourself a question. You see, if we're not about the Father's business, if we're not preparing for that day, we're missing God.
Amen.
We know of Him. We don't know Him. We don't know Him. Let me tell you what a difference it'll make in your life when you come to know Him. Peter was a boisterous, outspoken fisherman. Truth be known, if I was going to describe Peter to you, he was probably one of those cussing sailors. That's the way I describe him. Because he spoke his mind, he didn't care who heard him. Because that was his personality. You find it throughout the Scripture. He didn't care who heard him. He didn't care if it hurt their feelings. He could say it anyway. But this fisherman with sailor trash talk met Jesus. Didn't just hear of him. Oh yeah, I heard of him over in Capernaum. Over there. He actually met him. Had a relationship with him. And 3 years later, it's Peter who is preaching Jesus Christ. It's Peter whose shadow's falling on people and they're being healed. It's Peter who's reaching down to the man at gate beautiful and saying, silver or gold have I none, but such as I have give I unto thee. And he pulls him to his feet. It's Peter. Now, if God can take a cussing fisherman and make a holy vessel out of him, if God can take a murderer like Saul was and make a holy vessel out of him, if God can take a thieving taxpayer and make a holy vessel out of him, what can God do with you? Amen. But only when you begin to prepare. Where's God?